Hey, hello everyone. So in the last video or in the previous videos, we have seen how we can install the SCCM lab on Hyper-V and on Azure by using the Microsoft provided template. Also, we have discussed in the previous video that we are going to install the SCCM from the scratch. So in this video, we are going to see how we can install the SCCM server from the scratch. So we are going to deploy a domain controller. We are going to set up a domain controller, and then we will set up the SCCM, and that will be including the prereq and everything. And post that we'll also be having a, a client machine so that the further testing can be done on it. So if I show you, so this would be the lab environment. We will be having one DC server that the IP address starting with be 192.168.0.1. Then we will be installing a SCCM server that would be 192.168.0.2. Then there would be a client machine that would be having IP address. It would be a Windows 10 or Windows 11, anything we can install. So it would be having 192.168.0.3. Also, we may install a member server, and we can install the SCCM role on it. Maybe we can try installing DP, MP, or any other site server role onto it, and then from there we can do it. So without wasting any time, let's jump into the Hyper-V, and let's provision a domain controller for us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a virtual machine that would be the domain. Let's name it domain. Let's keep it simple, DC server. Okay, we click on next. We will be using the Gen 1 memory. I will give it somewhere around let's give 610.048. No, that would be 1 GB then. Let's give it a 8 GB of RAM. Next, let's connect to the internet. Let's keep it defaulted as external, and space, let me give it 500 GB for now. Not 500 GB because it's just a domain controller, so 100 GB would be more than it's sufficient for this machine. Let's choose okay, I will be using let's try to install the Windows Server 2025 preview version. Let's see how the Active Directory can be installed on it. I will start the machine and connect. Let's install, agree, and I don't have a license key for now, so I can skip it. Data center, desktop experience, click next, accept the license terms, and okay, so now it is installing Windows Server. It might take 10 to 15 minutes approx to complete the installation. Once the installation is complete, it will ask for a reboot, and once the reboot is done, then we will going to promote this as a domain controller. So now the server 2025 is installation is completed. So where we are going to install the DC, the domain controller on it. It will take another 1 to 2 minutes to do the final completion, and then we will start the promotion of domain controller. Okay, let's start. Click add role and feature. Okay, it seems like server manager is currently busy. So as of now, you can see that Windows Server 2025 database data center edition, and it is a evaluation copy, and this is the build. So let's try now. Okay, it's ready. Let's begin. I wanted to install a role. This will be the server name. Let's do one thing. Let's change the name first. Let's try to change the server name. So what I will do, I will go to system and rename this server. Let's give it domain server. Next. Restart later, and let's check if server manager is able to take it or not. No, it's not able to take. It's still taking the older name. Let's reboot it. Restart. Okay, the server has been restarted now, and let's try to add the Active Directory role. Yeah, it's a domain server. We'll click on next. What I want a domain service, Active Directory domain service. Click on next. I also need a DNS server to be part of it. Continue, next. Apart from this, I don't need anything as of now. We'll come back to this page again when we will be doing the SCCM installation, but not on this server, but on another server. That will be the part of member server. So we'll click on next, next, and so it started. Okay, now the feature is installed, that is Active Directory. Now what we need to do, we need to promote this server as a domain controller. So we'll click on promote, and we have to, now you will get three options over here. One is add the domain controller in existing domain. This means if you have already a domain in your environment, if you wanted to extend it, if you wanted to create a read-only domain controller or some other thing, then you can do it from this. If you wanted to add a new domain, then second option in the existing forest. And if you don't have a forest, if it is a first domain in your environment, then you have to click on add a forest. Let's give a name called what name? Let's take a name like mydomain.com. Okay, click on next. Now we have to give a password that will be the RM password, and it should be different from your domain password. Click next, and I have already selected it. Just we need to configure the DNS services later. It will automatically pull the NetBIOS name, my domain, and we'll click on next. So it has already taken up the path where it is going to put the sysvol and the other folders. Click next, and now it is verifying the prereq, and then domain controller will be promoted after that. If it met the requirement, then domain controller will be promoted. Okay, there are some DNS warnings. Let's So now you can see that the installation of Active Directory service is completed. We'll close and it will restart automatically. So now the machine is rebooted, and let's try to open the dsa.msa, and we can see mydomain.com. We can open the Active Directory, and there are some couple of users over there. Now the first thing that we would like to do is that we would need to extend the Active Directory schema, as this is a new environment and we have not extended the schema earlier, so we need to do it. To extend the schema, what we need to do is we need to have the installation file for SCCM or the ISO image. I have already downloaded it and saved it on my C drive. Let's go there and check. It's already been there and I have extracted it. So to extend the schema, we can directly run the schema extension file, or we can run it from the PowerShell as well. So what we will do, we will go to the C. You will find a folder called bin. Inside bin x64, and inside 64 you will find extension schema extension.exe. Let's do one thing, right click and run it as an administrator. This can also do the work. So now idle scenarios, I would like to run it from the command prompt or a PowerShell so that we can check that. But also if you have run it from here, what you can do, you can go to the C program and you can open this file and it will show you whether the schema extension is completed or not. So we can see successfully schema has been extended. So once the schema is extended, what we need to do is we need to create a system container. So system container does not automatically create when schema extension is done. and it is one of the prereq that whenever we are creating a primary site or a secondary site, that published site information in that scenarios, it is required. So it is basically the one of the prereq. So what we will do, we will open the server manager, and from here I will open the adsi.edit, and from here I will connect to the default site, and from here it is connected. Now there is a specific path that we need to follow to create the container. We have to go into the system folder. Inside the system folder we will right click, will create on new object, and then we have to select container. Next, now we have to make sure that the name should be system manager. So I will type the name system. So this is the name that we have to put, or we have to give it. So make sure that there is no spelling mistake, and we'll click next, finish. Once this is completed, once the system management folder is created, we have to perform an additional step. That is, we have to give the SCCM server the full permission. So what we will do, we will click the computer and we will type SCCM, and let's check what's that. It should be a computer, right? We will provide the full, apply, okay. So this is how you will provide the permission. And let's go back to our screen. So this is the prerequisite. So these are the prerequisite that we are going to follow. So active directory schema extension, we have already done it. System container, system management container, we have already created. Provide the primary server system management container, we have to provide the permission. So we have already done it. We have to create some service account so that the access can be provided accordingly. Network configuration, we have to do it. Firewall configuration, we have to make sure that firewalls are open. Windows features, roles and features that we need to install it. Report viewer, we need to install ADK for Windows 10, and then some local admin account that we need to create, and some client setting that we need to do it. And post that, we make sure that our server, our Windows server is fully updated and patched. After that, we will install the SQL Server installation, and post that we will do the current branch installation. So these are the service account, SVC account, that we will be using in future. So now we will continue with the installation of prerequisite, where we will be installing the roles and features. So we'll go to the server manager, and now to enable the rules and feature, we'll go to add and remove the feature. We'll click on next, add, next. Now the first thing we need to do is we will be installing IIS. IIS will be playing the important role. Apart from this, I don't think we will be needing anything else from the feature for now. And for now, so let's move forward and do the rest of the things. So we have to enable .NET 3.5, and make sure you click everything inside it. And after that, we will be needing bits as well, and post that there is called a remote differential compression. We will be needing that, so let me find out. remote differential configuration, and from features I think we are done for now. uh, I don't need anything. We need further rules as well, like common HTTP features, application deployment, security, so that will be done late. Uh, we will be doing it on further stage, but for now I think it is done. So okay, so we'll click on next, and let me check once again if we are not missing anything. I think we have already done it, so let's move forward. Okay, let's add HTTP and non-HTTP as well. Non-HTTP activation, background check, let background intelligent bits, I think. Okay, so let add HTTP and message. Let me cover this thing also. Let me cover it up. We'll click on next now. In the roles, so common HTTP, in common HTTP default documentation and static content needs to be enabled as of now, but I'm keeping rest as default setting, and after that we will be having application deployment. Not let's health diagnostic, let's keep again let's keep it default, and performance static is fine. We need this only. In security we would be needing Windows authentication, so we'll click on it, and we don't need FTTP server, but we need IIS 6 management compatibility. And management compatibility, we need console and metadata compatibility, WMI compatibility, and IIS script tool as well. So we'll select all of them. In application deployment, we would be needing extension 3.5, and uh, rest of the things are already being taken care by itself. So I also need scriptings and tools, so we'll select to it, and yeah, I think more or less we are done with it. So we click on next now, and you can see it asking if it is required additional path. If it will ask, then we can give it. Let me have a recheck as well if we are not missing anything, because this is very critical. In case we miss anything, you might face the problem while installing SQL Server or SCCM, or it might can throw some kind of error message. So I encourage you to check these things very well. And now let's click on install, and wait it to get installed. So this might take some time to get installed, because it is installing multiple features and roles for the servers. And meanwhile I have already downloaded the SQL, and the SQL that I am installing is 2022, and I have also downloaded the SCCM 2303, which is the latest version, and I have kept it into the repository folder. Now we will be requiring some other tools as well, so we are going to download it right away. While that installation is going on, I will download it. So I will be needing ADK for Windows. I will install Windows 11 for ADK for Windows 11. I will download it right away, and also we will be needing PXE add-on. Earlier these two were the part of single installation, but now Microsoft has divided into two parts, so we'll download both individually and we'll keep it into the our repository folder, and then we'll start with the installation process. So depending up to your speed, it can take up to 2 to 3 minutes approximately. So the size is around, you can see it's 2 point something and 1 point something, so almost 3 GB, almost 3 to 4 GB it is downloading, and installation is also in progress. If I check, so now these are downloaded. I will move them into my repository folder where I have kept my SCCM and SQL. Moreover, we need to extract this folder, so what I will do, I will create a separate folder for ADK and WinPE. I will create a new folder and move these individual file into it, so that it will not create any confusion for us. So I will moving the ADK into ADK and WinPE into the WinPE, and post that we will need to extract this file. Where is the extract? Oh, here we go. Oh no, that's the file. Cancel. We'll go right click, extract, and same thing we have to do it with WinPE as well. Now let me check the status as well of my installation. Meanwhile it is installing, so server manager, and okay, so it's still installing. It might take some couple of more minutes to do it. So the installation is completed, so I'm gonna restart this machine, and after the machine got restart, we will do the ADK installation. So now let's install the ADK. And so in the ADK, ADK is very important, and while doing the installation for ADK, there are only two options that we will be needing. One is the deployment tool, and the another is the user state migration tool, that is the USMT, which will be requiring while migrating the user state. And rest of things we don't require. So what we will do, we will uncheck it and we'll click on next. So it hardly take 2 to 3 I hardly take 1 to 2 minutes to complete it, and post that we will also do the WinPE installation. So WinPE is also very straightforward, but now earlier WinPE and ADK was a part of same single file, but now Microsoft has divided it, so we have to download both the file, and then we have to do the installation. It is almost done now. We'll close it, and now ADK for WinPE we are doing it. Click next, accept the license, and OK. So this installation will also take around 1 to 2 minutes, and post this installation, we will be starting with the SQL Server installation. And the SQL Server installation, uh, Now the installation is completed. Before we start with the SQL Server installation, so this is the document, the Microsoft provide documentation that what version of SQL can be supported. So in our environment, we will be using SQL Server 2022, which is the latest version, and it can support primary, secondary servers. So we have already downloaded the media. So we'll go to the repository file and we'll open the setup. Now we will click on first you can go to documentation of planning, and we will straight away go to the installation. Standalone installation, we'll go with the evaluation version because we don't have a license. Click on next, accept the license and click next. And now I don't want to check for update, so we'll directly go with it because I have downloaded the latest version. So I hope it would be fine. Now it has given an error message that the Windows firewall uh, it, it's on basically, so it's recommended that firewall should be off. So what I will do, I will go quickly open the firewall and turn off the firewall as well. This is the off. Let me off everything so that I do not face any problem while installing it. And property, let me again, I think I have, okay, off, and this is already off, so we are good to go. We will rerun the check and it should pass. Yeah, it's exactly passed it. We need to select data engine service, the first one, and in the production environment it is recommended that we install the root directory into some other drive like D and above, D, E, F, whatever the drive that you have, but this is the POC environment, so we'll be installing it on a C drive only. We'll click on next. Now the instance configuration we have to configure, but I will be using the default instance. I am not changing the name, so we'll click on next now, and after that we have to specify the service account name. So as of now I'm not giving any service account name, but in the production it is always recommended that you give a service account name. Service account name we have already created, so in the coming videos I will let you know how to associate those service account. You can do it after creation, and as well as on the collection there is a very important thing that you need to take care, that on the collection tab ensure the collection is SQL Latin 1 journal CP1 CLAS, which is the actually the data. Make sure on the journal tab SQL Latin 1 journal CP1 underscore CI underscore AS is selected, and we have to give the SQL Server administrator account here, the service account that we have created. So we have created the service account by the name of SVC-SCCM, I guess hyphen SQL. We will search and we will select it. It's a reporting, so we'll select this one. Okay, as well as I will add the current user, which is the admin account, cloud admin, and we'll click data directory. In production you always make sure that you move the data directory. You should not keep it on the C directory, CC drive. uh, as well as the temp directory also recommended to move into the some other directory. You create a separate drive and then move it there, but in our environment it's a POC, so just we are creating it over here, and the installation process is beginning now. So it take around 15-20 minutes, not 15-20 minutes, it will not take much time. So the installation has started, so it will not take much time, and once this is completed we will go with the installation of SQL Server Manager Studio, and we'll continue with the SCCM installation post that. Okay, meanwhile it is installing, let's download the SQL Server Management Studio as well, because Microsoft has this is something that we have to download additionally. We will download the latest version of SQL Server Management Studio and run it. It's just an executable file, and it's needed admin access to install it. Meanwhile, this is also getting completed. Now you can see it is successfully installed. I will close it, and now it's time to install the SQL Server Management Studio. So I have already downloaded the SQL Server Management Studio. It's a small executive file, so it will not take more than 2 to 3 minutes, I guess. So once this is done, there is one more thing that I forgot to install while installing the roles, and that is if we are planning to deploy update using SCCM, then WSUS is also required. I mean, it is one of the prereq that we need to install WSUS on the server. So what I will do after this, I will add the Windows Update service as well to it, the role as well, service role. So now the installation is completed. We'll close this window, and we'll close this one, close everything. Now the missing part that we missed last time, we'll open the server manager, and we'll let it get prepared. Okay, now it's open. Manage, add, remove roles and features. Next, next, next. So we have to find yes, this one. Click next. Click next. Also, we have to make sure that we select the database as well, uh, because we do not select, I mean, we don't have to select WID database service, we just need to connect there. We need to select the SQL Server connectivity. So these two cannot be clicked at the same time. So we have to give a path as well, where it going to store the updates that it's downloaded from the uh, Microsoft, or it should be a local path, and the NTFS permission should be there. So we'll create a we will specify a path into the C drive. Let's create a folder by the name of update WSUS. Click next. Ideally we have to give a name, but let's check it. It says it's successfully connected. Okay, ideally we should check it by giving the name in this place. Okay, now click next. Click next. Okay, let's install. So once this is installed, what we will do, we will try to open the WSUS, no, not the WSUS, we will try to open the SQL Server and check whether we are able to access it or not. And to access it, you remember that we have installed the SQL Server Management Studio. That will help you to open the uh, to connect it to the SQL Server. So now it is still installing. Okay, so it is still there, but yeah, it is installed. See, we have explanation mark yellow on the top corner, and even over here you can see that the installation is successfully successed on SCCM mydomain.com, and in further you can it can show you the what are the details that we have installed. So we'll close this window. Alright, we'll close it now, and let's try to connect the SQL Management Studio, or we will open the SQL Management Studio and it will try to connect to the SQL Server. So if you remember, we have given two service account name. One was SVC, another was Cloud Admin. So you can see it as connecting with the Cloud Admin, and now we are connected to the database. So if I expand site system, you will find couple of database that was created during the installation, and yeah, there will be created one more once we will be installing the SCCM. So we'll close it for now, and now we will begin with the before that there is one more thing we need to install, that is the uh, SQL reporting server service. Let's do it. Let's download it quickly. It is also very small application, so will not take more than 1 to 2 minutes to do it. SQL Server reporting service. So let's download the SQL Server reporting service. We click on download. It might take around 15-20 seconds to do it. Yeah, it's just a small 100 MB application. So once it is done, now we will open it. Oh, I think I clicked couple of time, I guess. Yes. So we'll install. We'll use the free edition. We'll accept the license. Click next. The installation path it is asking, and I think it will be very quick. It's a very small application. So yeah, it's almost there, and now we will start with the SCCM as well. So before, let's check. Yeah, it is done. So the SQL Server reporting service is also installed now. So we are good with the all prerequisite that were need to be taken care before deploying the uh, SCCM. But there is one more requirement I think that we need to take care, and that is firewall settings. So before we install the SCCM 2303, the firewall has to be configured properly so that you do not face any issue while deploying the client agent. So if there is a firewall between the site servers and the client computer, confirm whether the firewall parameters are, traffics are allowed or the ports are allowed or not. So there are two firewall settings that we have to make. One is for file printer sharing, and another one is WMI. So we'll open the firewall and we'll so now in ideal scenario, these firewall rules, when it come to the production, it should be pushed from policy, but in our case we will be doing it manually. So we'll go in board. First we will be creating the files and sharing, printer sharing. We'll click on next. We'll select everything from will by checking the inbox, and next allow the connections, finish. Now this is done for inbound rule. We have to create one more, that would be outbound rule. Right click again, new rule, and again it would be, no, not this one, not this one, allow root out, no. So we have to drop down again, we have to select the file sharing, and we'll have to select the checkbox. We'll select the checkbox, and next allow the connections and finish. So now both inbound and outbound rules are created. Now we have to create again the new, but this time it would be, I think, for WMI. Yes, for WMI we will create, and this is allow the connection, finish, and we'll repeat the same process for outbound as well. Now we will open the ports as well. There are two ports that needs to be opened. The one is 1433, another one is 4022. These two ports are important. So we'll allow the connection, that will be private domain and public. Click next. We'll give it a name as a TCP inbound 1433, finish, and yes, we will create a one more, that is for port number 4022. Again we will give the name, inbound 4022, finish, and you can see both the ports are created. So now we will start with the SCCM installation. So we have already downloaded the media and we'll go into the repository and we'll kickstart the installation of SCCM 2303. So now this is the setup file we have opened, and if you wanted to have a look, there are some additional links and some standard standalone components tools that you can use it from here if you wanted to explore. Otherwise you can click on install and start with the installation. We'll click next. Okay, before that, I will be using this use typical installation options, and we'll click yes and OK. I don't have a key, so we'll be using evaluation version. We'll accept the license, click next. So now we have to give a path where it can download the supported files. So we'll create a file in temp and then we'll start. So somehow it has given me the error that there is some problem. It's look like there was an interruption in my internet connection. So we'll click on OK, and what we will do, we will try to reinitiate the this cap files, the download of cap file. So let's change the location. I will go into the, let's browse a folder. Let's go into the SCCM and we'll create a new folder over here by the name of updates, and click OK, and we'll start the it once again. Let's see if it is giving the error message or not. So the download is completed successfully. Now the next page has come up where it is asking us to put the site code and the site server name. So this is very important. So the site server name will be, we are putting as a P01, and the site name, let's put it as a London site. And then I will be using, we will be using the same C drive as a setup file, but in production you make sure you change it. It has already picked the fully qualified domain name. We'll click on next now, and now it has actually started the checking some of the prereq. This is also stated it's going to check the prereq, and you can see that it has given us SQL Server running account. That means we have not given a SQL Server service that is running in the computer service account, so it is important to give it. So let's wait for others to complete, and then we will fix this error. So we have fixed this error, and we have added the service account to the services for the SQL Server. Go to the properties, log on, and you can see we have added the service account over here. And if we rerun, you can see all of the failed message has gone now, and the begin installation is highlighted. Also, I would recommend in the production or production POC, you take care of these error messages, like you SQL Server process memory allocation is taken care, and the SQL Server memory usage is taken care, and all those stuff, so that you won't face any problem. So now the installation is also started, and this usually take 30 to 40 minutes approx to complete it, and it will do a number of checks and a number of things in the backend. So we'll fast forward the recording and we'll come back once this installation is completed, and we'll see how the first look of the SCCM after installing it. So we are at almost at the end. It has taken up to 30 minutes, and you can see it's actually updating extensions. It Yeah, it finally completed. You can see that close button is there, and you can view the log, and if you have any issue you can report to Microsoft button is also enabled now. So we'll close it, and 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 duration you can see 30 minute 12 second it has taken. Let's click on close button and close it, and let's go to start and open the configuration manager console. So see, it is connecting to the site database, and the sccm.mydomain.com, the domain that we have created, is a part of that machine. It is giving the fully qualified domain name. Remember, we have created mydomain.com active directory. We have when we have installed the DC. So this is the name that we have given it, and it's the first time it is connecting, so it might can take up to 15 13 to 40 seconds, and post that you will see the first impression of newly installed SCCM 2303. So now you can see that SCCM is now opened, and evaluation version 180 days left, connected to P01, that's the site, London site, that we are the name that we have given to it, and sccmmydomain.com is the fully qualified domain name that it is showing. And if I go to devices, you won't find anything because we have not enabled any discovery as of now. So it is only giving the three machines: unknown, known, and provisioned. And in the coming videos, we will be doing the lectures or the classes or on how to enable discovery, how to install the roles. So stay tuned with it, and thank you so much for watching. If you have new to this channel, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much.